and you are on, my friend.
Thank you, Dan. And I am so excited to be here at Sacred Grounds at 11:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Bowie, Maryland. So I tell you, I bring greetings from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I absolutely appreciate this opportunity. I think I'm going to let you know who I am. I think I want everybody to get um, and experience Diane Wilbon Park. So the first thing I want to say is all of the poetry rocked. And in that vein, I am a visual artist. This is a rock, and I will show you some visual art throughout. And it almost reminds me of some of the artwork that I've done. This is a piece that I really, really love. This is a smaller piece. So I may be able to do that throughout, but right now I want to get to a poem. I don't know how you feel about life at times when everything appears to be overwhelming. And this particular poem is really about me surrendering and giving up, because sometimes things become so heavy. And the title of this poem is I Am the Only One Who Carries the Umbrellas. Today, I surrender. Tomorrow will be a truce. I wait for day's end when blue skies switch to black velvet. I surrender the purple swirls, the opulence a country swears it brings. I come with nothing. I take nothing. Today, I am from nowhere. I own only one thought: to burlesque a bird, to only take the feed of robins, to fill a future, to use their beady eyes to watch, to take bone-thin fingers to unclaw a prey, to perch a bench, to flap a wind, to unswallow rose-curd worries. Keep the sky and take deep breaths for now. Then, when the air consents, I will follow a wing until it fades to blue again. Tomorrow, my head will have time to unwind long enough to release a bird song, to empty out the unbalanced and the lakes that puddle here. The heavy rain clouds of blush creams still falling to earth, way across soft, blistered shoulders like lost souls slipping through arms. My buckets are full. My swallow is full. I can't take anymore. I am the only one who carries the umbrellas, the one who holds the country at her breast. The cities will sleep sound tonight. I will wave the white flag even before a truce, before the bird calls, before my cup overflows again. The next poem I am going to read is nostalgic for me. My mother and father are no longer here. And sometimes I'm sure if you have lost, loved ones, you just simply miss them. And this is entitled Holding Space. The sons and daughters who save us is a place of music. I was once a daughter. I came with a matchless mother and an anguished father. They loved me. I have lost their scent and the peace that I gathered from their arms. Death separates us. The roasted ache of pain lives inside the gardens of my chest, where I lay them down with moon and worry. Lavender and thyme leaven the bruises touching the night's flesh. And for a moment, I smell Georgia from the back door of my chest, stacked with melons, where seeds sprout from a veil of my mother's green thumbs. I have been holding space on a vine of deep breaths. It's so dark here. I need their light. So the next point I am going to read for you is very weird. And I really haven't read this anywhere. So you're my first audience. You know, sometimes I dabble with one letter poems, and this is a tribute really to the ancestors as well as to the descendants. And I'm using only one letter, which is B, for this poem. So I may get a little tongue-tied, but just bear with me on this one. It is untitled. Between blue butterflies bearing boundless bright backs, beautiful, bold, brown bodies, barefoot, bruised, banned, beaten, bullied, bound, battered, broken, burned, because Black bodies been born, been bought and brought, because biases breed bitterness beyond blindness, beyond being bound. Breathe. Beautiful Black boy, bae, brother, brew, bosses and bells, be better by being beacons, blessings, books, beaming bright, breaking barriers, believing, betting Black. Beautiful brown, Black, budding babies, born blameless, brainy. Begin, believe, become, bloom, be brave, build, broaden, behold breathtaking beauty, blossom brilliantly, be blessed beyond boundaries, be big, bigger, biggest, boundless, be bright beginnings, bonuses, be blissfully blessed. My next poem is almost it's almost a contradiction sometimes to some of the poems that I do write for the Voices of Woodlawn. I am one of the members for the Voices of Woodlawn. And I just think what needs to really happen, and this is what this poem speaks to, it is entitled Remnant Whispers, but what it speaks to is in the last stanza of this poem. And my thought is, do we really have to become deaf and blind to accept one another with this racial divide? So this is entitled Remnant Whispers. What happens in the crook of our arms matters. We keep resewing the past. It can't be undone. Its crowded voices echo in our voices. The same unanswered night still dangles lifelessly from the tattered sleeve of remembrance. Each strand of our threaded bodies, a remnant whisper from the past. The ancient, unbiblical cord still anchors our madness. These strings that swing in from the distance want us to let go, want us to heal the ulcers that lacerated the soul and the skin. We must offer something more than buckling words that always seem to unbuckle. We must lay hands on the dead and ask for forgiveness. Our bent bodies, a stitched dream from the needle's narrow light of grace, a vessel with the intention of mustard seeds will grow the sun's sweetened yellows in our small but massive minds. What happens in the turning of our mind is crucial, is a craved gesture in a field of wild thoughts. We will lighten the broken scales, the deepened losses that swallow us, the uneven grass that greens the other side, the greed that drips a bittered past. We must return blind and deaf with a desperation to touch and smell everything we cannot see or hear. My next poem is a poem. I'm just having problems with scanning or going up. Now, it's late, and I've been married to my husband for 35 years. So there's some intimacy, I'm sure you know that. And so I'm going to read a poem that's it's very intimate, it's wonderful, and it's not too bad, but this is a love poem. And the title of it is Inside. He whispers inside me as if I am a flute. I play beautifully, fingers floating in air with a soul that dances freely, so uninhibited. I pretend that I'm chocolate, erasing the shadows that carry rain, the mist of sweet shavings melting in the palms of our hands. You have to be brave enough to leave stains. He peels me like the thick rind of navel oranges. I become his shadow. He reaches in and cannot find me. When did I become a wall? Tonight, he peeks inside me as if I'm a violin this time. He traces the familiar string that holds a familiar note. Ah, the taste of chocolate calls him to me. He inhales me like the scent of coffee beans, pledging to bring me back into morning, back into the cup of his arm. I wait for my soul to be touched once more before leaving. My voice, happy with sound, swells into a shapeless green, then centers itself between the opening of his smile, where I whisper beautifully like a flute inside. Now, this poem, you will get to know me a lot because this poem is so sacred. I was in love and still am. I know that my mother's not here, but my goodness, was I in love with my mother. And the title of this poem is She Comes as a Sunset. She comes in the eve as a sunset, with the last yellow sun slipping down her shoulders. My skin gathers for church now and waits for her ghost to arrive. Echo chimes bloom from the distance as she steps in slowly, wearing the red evening as her gown. I press into warm air with an ear pinched to his skin. I can barely hear her just above the silence in my writing room. We exchange voices. The cursor moves without touch, without argument. So much of me shines when I feel her present. Doesn't every adult orphan want the chance to be parented again? In our background, a church plays our favorite hymns. We worship everything in this moment. The air, the ache of loss, the bright red bird that flies into my window, the God we belong to, the bloodless fever of loneliness, the rebirth of our souls. They are different now, aren't they? This small climb, holy of smells, holy of home, slowly droops above an isolated wind that waits and comes back stronger and more spiritual than before. Even now, I feel a Holy Ghost dance excitedly moving in me like an 8-year-old. No one knows that she is here with me, holding me up. I wallow so deep into her soul that I become lost. Each breath sacred, each time that we write and suppose zoetic. The air becomes cold. The cursor stops moving. The chimes from next door rings louder. The wind ungathers my skin, closes its door, and my voice becomes colorless. The crimson eve has turned into a night of silvers. The moon is white and orphaned to a dark, parentless sky. I sit alone in my writing room with fingertips pressed against what I now imagine each key to be her fingertips and the air, her soft skin that I will always, always lean against. If you've never seen The Blue City, just Google that, and I fall in love with that. And it's just, oh, I just looked at this door, and this is what I came with. This is an ekphrastic poem. It's titled Your Face. Your face at time is a beautiful door, stern and unwilling. I imagine your lines are the markings of your living that separates each lover's war. Your lips, an altar of whispered flames. Great men have stood before them and burned. There is great distance between the eyes of your now and the eyes of your past. The gold that ambers through your iris whispers guilt and shame and dance like birds do. Just underneath the moon of your cheeks, a consecrated land still grows. Above the seam of your cheek, a bone rises in deformity. Fruit pills. The soil recalls the year of the trespassers, the ones who wandered in by mistake. Your face, once a beautiful door, now blurred with an antithesis of lines no longer distinguishable, only the altar that confesses your soul. So before I wrap up, this is the last poem. I always, and if there are many of my friends tonight that are here, so they know that I end with something light. And this poem is just that for me. And it is entitled Give Me Light. In as much as I can take, give me light. In as much as I can dream, give me hope. And the souls of first stars lit by rays that burn with such intensity to love, to crave such harmony that shine as a string of lights bellowing in air with every string that falls into knitting. My hope is that you take your place, take your dreams and swing them over your shoulders across America, across Europe, into Africa and India and Asia. Leave your Moulin teas, fill every dark space with the candle of your smile. Shade the moon of its starlit dust. Spread your light and hope on others. Open the jar of every part of you, that loves, that sings and wants and dreams and hopes with the burning rays that rise inside your throat. There is always a sun spinning loose there. There are no secrets. There is no darkness, only light. Love like weddings. Take the gaze from these God-stretched years, these cherished pearled reflections, this daydreaming skin that swells from the blue that glows like mirrors from the lakes that swoon and shades of blue jays. Give the world the sound of trees full of air and hope. Bend into gold strands that leans in and shine. Every prayer is a melody. Roll your big, tall heads back in as much as you can take. Give your light in as much as you can dream. Give hope and love like the souls of first stars. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Unmute, ladies and gentlemen. Let her hear it.
Wow.
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
couldn't write all the good lines down in the chat. There were too many of them.
There are a lot of them in there.